Okay, as he said, my name is Ashley Taylor. I teach students with moderate to severe disabilities in grades preschool through 8th grade. So I have only 5 students, but as I mentioned, I have a huge range of abilities and students in my little group. And because I have such a small amount of students, I only have a limited amount of teacher's aide assistants. So there are lots of times throughout my day that I'm completely alone in my room with 1 to 5 students with severe needs, with lots of needs, and they all need a lot of one-to-one attention. So I wrote my grant to get some iPads for my classroom because when I first took over this position this year, the teacher who had been there before me had a couple iPads that were her personal property, so they left with her. And my students were very, very upset about this lack of iPads. That's all I heard for the first month or so of school was, I wish we had an iPad. I don't like using this computer. I don't want to sit here and type on this keyboard. They wanted their iPads back, so we got their iPads back. So I did write a grant to get 3 iPads, and I already had 1, and then I have another from home that I bring sometimes. One of my students is really too young to really get on a lot of the programs that we use. So I have enough iPads now that we are able to, anytime that my student needs an iPad or wants an iPad, they are able to have one available to them. And that's pretty much what I have talked about here in my area of focus. The iPads are really helpful when I am alone in the class with my students, when I need to work one-on-one or in a small group. I can let my other students use the iPads, use programs that I know what they are on, I know what they're doing, I can track what they're doing, and they're not just sitting around, they're actually practicing skills and growing. And I've kind of already went over this also. While all students can benefit from one-to-one technology access, I feel my students with special needs really need a lot of that. They have a lot of sensory needs, social needs, and the iPads really help them with coordination, with socially. We play a lot of games together. In a little bit, I'm going to talk about Kahoot. I'm sure everybody's probably used Kahoot, but my kids love it for reviewing and playing games. So they've been really good for us with social skills also. My research question was, how might one-to-one tablet access help my students grow academically, as well as foster independent work habits and social skills? And what I've kind of not touched on yet was those independent work habits. My students are very independent with their iPads. They know how to plug them up and charge them. They know to be careful. They know where to go to get wipes to clean them. And they know how to get on the programs themselves, log in to the programs that we use. They have learned a lot of independent technology skills with the use of these. So my question again was related to just having that set of iPads to allow for the increased small group engagement through interactive review assignments such as Kahoot, and just having those tablets available for them to use. My action plan involved just having those available and setting up accounts. I'm going to kind of skip through this. We were evaluated through the use of my own observation. With being a self-contained special ed class, I take data pretty much all day long on everything we do. So engagement is a big issue with some of my students, and I have definitely seen growth there just through observations. They are excited to get on there and work with these programs and games. The 2 of the main programs that I use that I'm going to talk about are iExcel Math and Teach Your Monster to Read. iExcel was used to track math skills progress. The students can access iExcel independently. All of my students that use iExcel have shown growth. 4 of my students use it. And it provides progress monitoring trackers. So I can log on to my teacher account. I can see, well, Jacob is working on this skill, but here he is, he's quit after 5 questions and he only had a 20%. So this is a skill that he's really not confident in. While as another skill, he may have answered 100 questions and he has a 90%. So I know he's got that one down. iExcel is not free, but you can get a free account online. I only use math, but they have English, they have social studies, I think they have science. It's really good. I mean, I would pay for it, but so far this year I've been lucky enough to send an email and have my free trial extended. So if you ever use it, I would definitely try that. This is my teacher dashboard, so I can see here this year my students have answered 8,711 questions. They've spent 31 hours and 21 minutes collectively using iExcel, and they have made progress in 239 skills. And again, that's only between 4 students, so that's quite a bit of progress. This is what your individual student account would look like. So this is where I get a lot of my data. You can see here, this is where they have spent 14 minutes on a skill. They've answered 31 questions. It lets me know what they're getting good scores on, what they're struggling with, and it breaks down all of the standards into smaller parts. Like I said, I have older students, but most of them are functioning on a K-2 level, so they can get on there and they don't have to get on 8th grade work that they have no idea what they're doing, and they can get on the work that is suited to their level. And this is a picture of one of my students using iExcel. That's a counting standard. There's lots of interactive standards. There's times when you can write your answer with your finger, so it's not just boring. They really enjoy working on it. I also use Teacher Monster to read. I don't know if you guys have ever used it. I just discovered it this year, and I really enjoy it. My kids love it. You go on there, you get to make a little monster, and you play games. It is free online. The app is $4.99, but you can often find it for free. I found it when it was on a free for 2 weeks kind of trial. But it's always free on the desktop computers. And again, my students can access it independently. They've all shown growth. It starts with letter recognition, and it moves up into sounds and blends. And then as you go on, there's words and sentences. So it kind of just takes you wherever your student starts at. They can do like a diagnostic at the beginning, and it tells you where to start them. Again, here's some of my student data. Most of my students are on Fun with Words. This student I don't have quite as often, so he's still on the first steps of the program. Once you go into each student, again, it offers you a lot of data. It tells you how long they've played this game, what level they're at. This tells you exactly which letters that they are doing well with. As you can see here, this student is kind of struggling with the F sound and R. So it really gives you a lot of good data to go back and look at to see what areas you might want to hit with these students. We also love the engagement of Kahoot quizzes. My kids love to get in teams and play Kahoot. I think I have a video. Yeah, so Kahoot, if you guys don't know, it's kind of like a quiz site. They have their iPads, they put in a code, and it connects to the game on the smartboard, and they will choose their choices for an answer down here. Most of my students are not readers, but they can function really well when I say, okay, the red answer is this, the blue answer is this. They can independently choose those answers. We've also made progress using our iPads for sight words. This is a sight word app. This student likes to go through and this app, I can't remember the name of it, but if you guys want to know any of these, just email me. This one, she reads the words, and the app will, when you tap on it, it reads the word for you, and then she writes them down in her notebook. And that's helped her. She has grown quite a bit with her sight words. This is another sight word app where it also reads you the word, and then you use your finger to go back and write the word yourself. And this is another sight word game where it tells you which word to pick out of the tree. So as far as success, I do feel like this project was successful. My students have shown a lot of growth. They operate their iPads independently. They love to use them for social time. Sometimes we use them just to have fun and play games, kind of as a reward. But most of the time when they are using them, they are engaged in skill work.